Welcome to the Casual Camping Podcast, your home for the best camping discussion both in and out of the field. Here are your hosts, Tim and Aid.
Hello, and welcome back to Casual Camping Podcast. I'm Aid.
And I'm Tim. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. The Christmas feelings are upon us. November is going away, ending pretty soon. Black Friday is here. There's some deals out there, which is a danger to me, Tim. I don't know about you. Have you made any purchases?
I've actually not. I have done a load of searching though, and I've been putting some stuff that I've found on our Facebook group, and then people have been adding to that some of the stuff they've found. There are some massive bargains out there, absolutely huge.
Yeah, they really are. It's this time of year, and I would probably say what it does mean is our American friends, happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for giving us all Black Friday. That's where it's come from.
yeah. So absolutely. Happy Thanksgiving to our North American listeners. That is today as we are recording. We're recording this on Thursday, the whatever date it is, 28th. So happy Thanksgiving. Some people have put some Thanksgiving messages on our Facebook group. So if you're not a member of our Facebook group, get your ass over there, because there's always a bit of stuff being posted on there and some chit-chat stuff. And you can always partake, which is nice.
It really is, especially if you're getting out camping. We all, there's not many people that are getting out at this time of year. Tim, sadly, cannot. He's an injured little baby bird that can't go camping, like a baby bird with a broken wing. So it'd be really nice.
To be honest, I feel a bit like roadkill at the moment.
Resist, Dave, resist.
Oh god, yeah. So if anybody's out camping, post your stuff on our social, because we'd love to see it. And if one of us is camping, then we're all camping, aren't we? We're sharing the love.
Yeah, and you're inspiring that next sort of trip or somebody to think about when's the next time going. So if you're out there, share the love, like you say. And good for putting out Facebook and the socials. Once again, subscribe to the podcast. That really helps us keep our numbers going, keeps us doing this same thing, and makes us fully aware that actually we're not talking to the ether, that there is some people out there really interacting with us.
Have you got ether? Oof. Can you get drunk on that?
Yes, you can, I think.
Moving on. We've had a mediocre 5-star review.
Get the hell out of it!
I know. It's So yeah, if you want to review the show, send us your very best 5-star mediocre review. You can do it either by just direct messaging us on any of our socials. You can do it on Apple Podcasts by putting a review up on there, or in the show notes wherever you're listening. There is a little link that you can send us a message, and this one came through from there. So this is. This is, hi guys, just realised after all this time I've not even left you a 5-star mediocre review. Ha ha. Love the podcast and made some great friends because of it. Always look forward to a Friday for the laughs listening to you two with the banter. Thanks guys. Bella. Bella's never given us a 5-star review. Thank you very much, Bella.
Oh my God. Well, I really appreciate that, Bella. Thanks for taking the time. It's lovely to hear. And what Tim was saying there, actually, if you want to just whinge at us and not give us a 5-star kind of thing, we don't want to hear it, really. Be kind, people. Be kind, be nice. Go camping. What
Absolutely.
am I talking about? All our
Absolutely.
listeners are nice.
Of course they are. Of course they are. We don't get many complaints, actually, do we?
No, I mean, my back's complaining a little bit these days, but
Oh, you're just old. You're just older than I.
Are you not 50 yet?
No, no, I am not. Are you nearly 60?
4 years closer to it than you. Yes. Well,
Yeah. No. It's So what are we talking about this weekend?
we're talking about clothes, surprisingly
Ah,
enough.
getting your kit on.
Clothes. Getting your kit on, getting your kit off. All of it counts if whether you're up a mountain in Everest or whether you're on a campsite in the middle of Ben Nevis. It is quite important that you have the right clothes. And I think it's something that we've not talked about ever. And we have done a
Yeah.
few episodes where we've updated things or repeated things from one season to the next, or we've talked about the changing seasons and what we'd be looking at, but we've never talked about the clothes that we wear.
Yeah, you said this a couple of weeks ago, and when we were talking about what episodes we were going to do for the rest of this season, and you went clothing, and it was like a light bulb moment. It's like, why have we never done clothing? We've got
Why
loads of clothing. He says,
so,
sitting here in a North Face fleece. Very nice.
and before listeners switch off and go, oh, he's going to start talking about pants and base layers and stuff, which we might well do. Uh, we just thought that we are trying to cover all bases and see what people really do. You know, what's our journey with clothes, what we've always worn.
It was funny a couple of episodes ago. You did make a comment. It might have been last week, so I'm not sure now. It's they all blur into one. They all blur into one. But you made a hell of a statement, really, where basically you take one pair of pants for however long you're going for, and those pants are just going to have to survive. By pants, we mean underpants, not trousers.
Is that what we're really saying? Is that what we're really saying?
I'm not saying that. I think, oh my God, I'm like gobsmacked at that. I
My that
some
word
of my
that you
my last note on my show notes are it says never underestimate the importance of spare socks and clean pants. If you've been out walking in the hills or you've been out doing a lot of whatever you're doing when you're camping, you get sweaty and all sorts. And fair enough, you don't necessarily need to change everything, but it is really nice to put a fresh pair of socks on and a clean pair of pants the following morning. It is
yeah.
nice.
And yeah, so one, I would back that up and go. So my comedy kind of thing has maybe sold me down the river there and gone. Oh well, I was joking a bit, but then I also kind of think about there's those times that I remember waking up in the morning camping, and you know how precious I am about my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like carnage. Can't remember the end of the night. I was half in my tent, half out my tent. All the electrical stuff that I got was out in the rain.
Oh
It
no.
was carnage, and changing my pants and at that stage is the least worrying thing.
Yeah. I can understand where you're coming from then. I can understand that. And actually thinking back to one of my very earliest camping trips, we'd literally it was the year that we'd just left school and some of my high school mates, there was four of us, and we went on a bit of a road trip and we went to Blackpool first and had a few nights in Blackpool getting drunk. Blackpool is a northern seaside town that
It's the
well, yeah.
ballroom dancing mecca of the world, Tim. It's
We
not a
weren't
northern town.
ballroom dancing. That's all I'm saying. we then went from there to
Not a
Wales.
euphemism just because there was 4 lads.
No. This is an inclusive podcast. I'll have you
It's an
know.
inclusive. Yes.
We then went camping in Wales, and we spent a few days in the Brecon Beacons. And while I was down there, phoned me mum and said, "Oh, I'm all right, mum. I'm alive," because she didn't really know I was going to go until it was all a bit last minute. And I just remember the only thing that she actually said to me on the phone. The only thing I remember is she went, "You only took one pair of pants." And I went, "Mum, it's all right. I'm okay." Yeah, I did make one pair of pants last a week.
Oh.
But you see, I learned from that, and I've never made that mistake again. That was literally a schoolboy error. I was a schoolboy.
Hello, Mum. Words of wisdom. She ain't listening.
I don't think she might do, actually. I don't know. She might have it on Alexa. Oh dear.
Well,
So yeah, so what do you normally take now then? You know, what's your normal sort of go-to with what you're wearing?
so people won't be surprised that I'm branded up, not brandy, branded.
You're branded as in like a cow.
Oh, I've branded people, to be honest. Haunts me. We were camping. Somebody said, "Let's heat up that coin." So yeah.
So somebody got branded with a coin. We don't recommend any of this. That doesn't form entertainment, can we just say?
No, it doesn't. And obviously, I feel a bit ashamed about that these days because somebody's a bit scarred now.
Someone's a lot scarred. Is it like off Indiana Jones? Has he got like a coin on the palm of his hand?
It was in northern England, so there was no snow, so he had to just like run out the house and put it in a drain to cool it down. He swore like the Germans did, though. I'm a student for mice.
Yeah, he's never going to find that treasure, though, is he? He's only got one side of the coin. Up to date film references. Kitching. So you are branded up. You wear branded items. What are you?
Are we getting off track?
We're totally. Do we ever?
Well, we do. So generally, and this is something that I've learned throughout the years because I used to go away with just pairs of jeans and whatever else, only one pair of pants. No, I'm not joking. But I'd go away with those kind of things. While you're camping, you're doing an awful lot of sitting up, sitting down, getting up, getting down. So you're on, the floor, you're pegging in things, you're doing whatever. And just found that actually you do need to wear some proper gear. It doesn't need to be super duper branded up. It can be anything. There's so many good things out there. I'm liking the look of Crag Hoppers at the minute. They do such a lot of good stuff. And that's not just because our friend of the show, Richard, has been pointing that out. Actually, genuinely impressed with it, and impressed with how good it looks, actually how robust it is, and what it does, and the style of it. Really, I just think it is really good. But it is that thing. The more that you're out there, you want something that's a little bit more utility for you. So. Like I say, from going away in jeans and just whatever I had, and but as I've got more seriously about it, things that have got not padded knees, but robust knees. So for me, full raven trousers I think are really good. They're made out of cotton. They've got robust seat and knees where you get all the. I was going to say Ollie action.
You're getting a lot
All
of
the
action
wear
on
and
your knees
tear.
there. You're getting a lot of action on your knees there, Ed.
I am a happy camper, Tim.
Oh no, I wasn't going to say that joke. I won't say that
Don't take it into the sewer, Tim.
one. It's right in the gutter, this show. It's I know what you mean. So for years I did the same thing. I was taking jeans and stuff like that, and I might have a cheap pair of walking trousers if I was then going walking while I was there. But actually, jeans are some of the most uncomfortable trousers, particularly if you get damp, and if they get properly wet. They're just awful things to be wearing, and once they get wet, they you've got no hope on a campsite of drying those at all. They're
Yeah.
um they're just the worst things to be wearing. I don't take those at all anymore. I don't have fancy posh fall raven trousers. I desperately would like some fancy posh fall raven trousers. They are incredibly expensive, but I do think they're worth every penny. You do get what you pay for with them. They're really sort of hardworking. Like you say, extra material over the areas that it needs it, and lighter material sort of in other areas. But and great for when you're around a camp. I wouldn't want to walk in a pair of fall raven trousers. They'd be quite heavy
Why not?
because I think they're quite heavy. I've got to
Well,
go on, say it.
I think you're wrong, Tim. I think you're wrong. Yes, I mean, it's not like we're talking like a pound heavier than. But I've got my oldest pair on, and they're very light, almost worn through. They're not. But yeah, no, I see what you mean, and obviously you do different activities than me. I tend to sit around a campfire, cook for people, and
Yeah,
have a
and
few
that
beers,
and
have a lot
that's
of
where
beers.
that's where I was going to go with it. Really, is I've got I've got clothes that if I'm going camping with, say, if I go camping with you, actually the activity of what we're doing is being around camp and setting up camp, cooking food, drinking some beers, having a fire, being with mates, and we tend to stay around camp quite a lot.
Hmm.
If I'm with other people or I'm going on my own, actually I do all of that, but then there'll be some walks built into it, and I'll go hike some hills or something like that, and I'll go walking out. I don't really want the clothes that I wear around camp. I don't For the clothes that I've got, I wouldn't go walking in those. They're a
Yeah.
bit more hard wearing. They are a bit heavier. They're not necessarily wicking. So whereas like my walking trousers and my walking stuff, it's a lot more lightweight. It wicks the moisture away from my body, and I can go walking up the hills with it. Some of it's got a bit of a water repellent to it as well, so it's more
Hmm.
performance wear that I take, and it does mean I've got to have a bag of clothes, which are clothes I'm going to wear when I go out. It also means if I have gone out and I've got a bit muddy or a bit wet, and I come back to camp, I can take all that stuff off and I can put my camp clothes back on,
Hmm.
and then I'm around camp in dry clothes. So I tend to pick I fill my camp my clothes bag, my kit bag, with stuff that's kind of tailored to that trip and what I'm going to be doing on that trip, rather
Yeah.
than just kind of having a set amount. And I'm aware, we talked about this before. You and I were in a privileged position. We have loads of kit. We've got loads of stuff, and that includes clothes. I mean, the amount of fleeces I've got, you wouldn't believe. Zip up
Yeah.
fleeces and quarter zip fleeces and this, that, and the other. It's I've got tons and tons of the stuff. So we are in a very fortunate position where we can actually say, well, I'm going to take this to wear for that, and this to wear for that, and this to wear for that, and then I'll put my tuxedo on for dinner.
And you've got a beautifully laid out tent that actually could fit it all in. Um,
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I do. I do have the space as well. I do have the luxury of the space. Even in a small tent though, when you talked about Ben Nevis. When I went up to Nevis, I only took the little
Mm.
North Face Big Fat Frog, and yeah, there's not a lot of room in there. But I kind of stuck to my rule really of you'll walk in these clothes and you'll be around the camp in these clothes, and it meant that when you got off the hills, you could get changed into something that was dry, and I did take spare socks, enough to put a fresh pair on as soon as you got back off the hills, because it is lovely putting fresh dry socks on when your feet are all a bit rubbish.
Tim, it's like I'm talking to the SAS. Keep your feet dry.
I don't think they take loads of different clothes away with them.
Is it not?
Speaking of the SAS, the Special Forces, I do have a few items from Through Dark, which
A few now. Oh,
oh no, well, it's only three pieces that I've got from them. They're really expensive, so I do only have three pieces from them, but they are fantastic materials that brilliant construction, and it is real sort of performance stuff that you kind of you can wear on the hills and you can wear for days, and it's really well made stuff,
yeah.
put together in the UK, made in the UK, and the business is run by ex Special Forces, and it's cracking stuff. I do love it, but I've got to take out another small mortgage to get the next item. I want some of their trousers.
Well, I think this is the thing. I mean, I think as more outdoor stuff has become available, I used to work in charity shops. You know what we never get? Outdoorsy stuff, or very
I bet.
rarely.
Yeah,
Considering how much is out there, the resale value or putting it on somewhere else, because brands do sell and things. Yeah, hardly ever gets into charity shops.
mm,
So yeah, but I think as well, you touched on a good point there about fleeces, and we were having a chat earlier that listeners were not involved in. So I'll mention it here. That how many fleeces do you have that have got little droppy burns in from the sparks that come off the fire?
yeah,
So fleeces are a great way of keeping warm, nice and easy. You look great when you're in them. They don't take any ironing or anything like that, so you can just pull them out of the bag and you look smart. And yet, they are a mainstay of people on campsites. And yet, you're around campfires, so I know your other half was really annoyed that she bought you a full raven fleece, and
yeah,
first time we went away, it was like sparks up your arm, and
yeah.
it looked as if it was 10 years old and really knackered instantly, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, and yeah, she wasn't very happy with that. And this is the dilemma really, because you want to buy all this high performance stuff, and you want to buy all this really nice stuff, but yet we're doing an activity that is fundamentally dirty, because you do get dirty camping. There's no getting away from it, and we love campfires, and there are always going to be sparky burns. So you kind of like, oh, I really want the nice stuff, and I really want the stuff that's going to perform, but at the same time, you kind of have to have this. You've got to let go a little bit and be a little bit more relaxed with it, because it is. You're doing stuff that's dirty and has got fire in it. It's going to get a little bit wrecked. Although
Yeah.
saying that, I do have a sort of a thick checky shirt that I that's like an extra large, goes over anything, that when I am sitting around the fire now, I have kind of learned that goes on every camping
Yeah.
trip. So it's like every photo of me round a campfire now, it's the same shirt for like 4 years. Looks like I brought no other clothes with me, but it's like an overshirt that I put on, and it is covered in sparky burns. But it just means the stuff that I really don't want to get wrecked isn't actually getting wrecked,
Yeah.
and a bit protected. Maybe we're just a couple of wimps, really, and we just need to man up a little bit.
Well, I mean, this is essentially why I bought my fire vest from Snow Peak, because it's fire retardant and stops some of that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I could do with like a fire retardant smock or or anorak or something like that. Something made out of
Yeah,
canvas that's got fire retardant on it. Really like something like that for sitting around the campfire because you can then put your other layers underneath, and it just
yeah,
means that note's going to get through it. But yeah, yeah, I do have a lot of sparky burns in a lot of my clothes, which is couple of
yeah. It's
couple of
just
really nice
annoying.
jumpers, and it's just like it's really annoying.
Well,
Got a bloody
I
burn in
mean,
that.
I'm sat here in a Musto fleece, which
Oh, I
was
can
my
see it.
favourite, and it's got a big burn just on the shoulder. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of dead to me now. I only wear it for like gardening or other
Yeah,
stuff,
gets
you
that way,
know.
doesn't it? I think we need to
Yeah.
do a post of sparky burns in our clothes. Take a lot of photos and do a montage of all the sparky burns we've got. It's
Yeah.
it does. It's the nature of what we're doing, though. Like I say, it's a mucky thing at times, is camping, and even on a lovely camping and caravan club site, if you're on your knees sorting out tent pegs and things like that, you're going to get a bit mucky. And if you're having
Yeah.
campfires, there's going to be sparky burns. There's just no way of getting away from it. It's going to happen. What
Yeah.
are
And
you? Sorry, go on.
no, no, go on. Move us on.
I was going to move on to onto the old footwear. Because I love a pair of slippers when I'm camping.
Yeah, do. Everybody does.
I like a bit of comfort. Again, if you've been walking on the hills, there's nothing nicer than taking your walking boots that are half a size too small off and
Pouring the blood out.
pouring the blood out. Mopping up your foot with your damp sock that's damp with. Oh no, we won't go there. But it's really nice taking your boots off, putting some fresh socks on, and putting your slippers on and lighting the tent stove. I mean,
Yeah.
living the dream there, people. Surely.
Well, I have to say, so I think it must be 5 or 10 years ago now that North Face came out with those little mules that you've got.
I'm wearing them
Now,
now.
everybody makes versions of those now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got myself a pair in the summer because it was going away. And they've got a hard, robust bit on the bottom, but actually they're like, so you can wear them in the grass and things like that. But it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm just wearing them around thing. And then I walked all over the festival with them because it was like, you know what, this is just comfortable. There's no mud; it's just dry.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, when they
Um,
first brought those out, they didn't have those hard soles, and I had some, and you would get wet. So they were proper slippers just for the house, really. But they brought out numerous ones with hard soles on. I just want to show you, I've got a sparky burn in mine. You can see it there on the camera.
oh my
Yeah, yeah.
God.
Hadn't had these very long either, and then got a sparky burn. Taking them camping, it's like,
How
oh, that was.
frustrated did you get?
I was quite pissed off with myself, to be honest. Quite annoyed,
Uh,
and they were a present. So yeah, but
oh,
I know.
did,
So yeah,
did Timothy get told off?
there was just a disappointing look, which is far worse.
Tim, Tim. Yeah.
Um,
No, I think yeah. So these days, I'm similar to you. I've got like something that's cotton that goes over my any fleeces that I've got, and I don't have too many fleeces. I have to say, I've had them. Uh, I've not worn this for ages. I found it in the bottom of me wardrobe today, and I thought, you know what, I might be able to fit into that. I could get it over my head. I mean, it doesn't look attractive in any way, shape, or form, but
you haven't fit into extra small for a long time.
oh, thank you, so kind.
The
um,
thing to do, I think, is to if someone started to get sparky burns in it, it becomes the fireside clothing. Really,
yeah,
and you've got to sacrifice it really to the sparky burn gods, and just it's going to get more burns in it. It's just going to get more burns in
uh,
it.
and I think, I mean, when we were at the View on the farm, there was quite a lot of people, and certainly the bushcraft show that we were at, there was a lot of people walking around in full ribbon,
Yeah.
which in even in my own world makes me want to go, oh, I don't want to be wearing what everybody else is wearing. I don't want to be, I've got Patagonia, I've got all the brands kind of thing. And yet,
Mm.
I think, I'd quite like to be different. And I saw some guy wandering around kind of old school. He had wellies on, socks up over the top of them. And then he had a barber on it. But it
Mm.
was like old school barber kind of thing.
Cool.
He wasn't a farmer, but he just looked cool.
Yeah.
And I think some of those things actually, a barber, even if it did get a spark on it, that fabric lasts so much more. The spark goes out much quicker than.
Yeah. A bit of a waxed cotton canvas jacket. It's barber jackets are great. I've got a barber jacket, but it's one of the more sort of smarter versions. It's more for going out in town. If I'm going to town, I want to look like I'm town and country. It's I wear it
What,
there.
like the Chelsea tractor.
Yes, yes. I've just got out of my new Defender. Popping in for a pint of milk. No, it's I do like barber jackets. I do like a wax jacket. It's they are perfect for camping really, and the sort of the long are they called drovers coats? So
Yeah,
they're really long.
I think that was something like, and I thought he looks cool. He looks cool.
Yeah,
Like it was well put together, but it also looked like he was just roughing it as well.
yeah.
So yeah,
They
just yeah.
they are something that hold their money like you wouldn't believe. It's when I used to live
Dro-
over in Shropshire.
Drovers, yes,
Drovers.
drovers.
Can't get money out of
heard that
them.
about them.
When I lived over in Shropshire, the market in Ludlow, there was a guy on there who used to have a rack of second-hand barber jackets, and they were like there was nothing under 200 quid. It's they're so expensive, so expensive. What are you laughing at there? Go on.
No, no, there was a guy there and he had a rack. And you didn't follow up with a barber jackets really quickly. We're all inclusive, Tim. A guy can have a rack. I think I've almost got one.
A rack of barber jackets. It's
Yeah, it didn't quite flow like that when you said it. So
no,
the child in me giggled.
that's all right. It's all right. You giggle away. You giggle away.
Uh,
I mean,
um,
going back to footwear again, I don't just take slippers. I've got some. Well, I used to take like walking trainers and things like that, but the amount of times my feet just got soaking wet in walking trainers around campsites and stuff because they're not proper boots or anything. So
yeah.
now I got two lots of walking boots. So my camp boots for around camp are my old leather walking boots. They're a pair of Merrells. The grips kind of gone off them. So I wouldn't go up a hill with those anymore because I wouldn't trust them anymore. But there's nothing wrong with the uppers, and they're still waterproof and breathable. So I have those for around camp now, and they're just a decent pair of boots. And then if I am also on a trip where I'm going to go walking, I will take my proper walking boots as well and have those and kind of mix and match and interchange. It's a good job with car campers really because it's like we take loads of stuff.
Yeah, take far too much. Even when I'm going fast and light, which isn't anybody's idea of fast or light. But
No.
for me, it might be. And I think the other thing around clothes, really, what you also have to think of the seasons that you're going in. Um, I There are some really expensive merino wool base
Mm.
layers that you can put on that are absolutely fantastic. Absolutely give you, that warmer if you're going into sort of colder climes and stuff like that. But mostly, I tend to wear a base layer anyway. Maybe not in the summer, but certainly spring, autumn, and winter. So for 3 of the months that I camp in, I do, and it's worth investing in something really good, something that isn't too thick. I get really itchy with the base layer after wearing for a significant amount of time. But invest in a good one, and that can, one, help you with your sleeping bags. It gives you a little bit of extra heat, warmth, etc. It's always worth getting out of your clothes. Now, I'm a firm favourite of sleeping in your clothes sometimes, but that's mainly because I might have had a couple of two shandies and just think, oh, what the hell, I just climbed into bed. But it's certainly, you will be warmer, with a good base layer on and stuff.
I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think layering up, depending on, don't wear things that are too bulky. If you are sitting down, if you are sitting, getting up, getting down, all of those things. I've sat down in a chair one time and I was like, oh, felt like the Michelin Man, just because I got so many layers on. Make them quite thin, but layer up, and it'll do a really good job of keeping you warm when you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, that is if, you're being conservative with the wood that you're throwing on the thing, that Tim's not had some Kraken rum and stuff. It's like, just put a whole bag of
Put it
wood
all
on.
Put it all on. Put it all on. Yes. Now I've got Helly Hansen base layers that I bought years ago when I went skiing. I used to go skiing, and but it's like, I don't know, it's probably about 14 years since I've been skiing. I think it was 2010 the last time I went skiing. It's and these are still from then, and amazingly they're a little bit tight, but they still fit me. and they do come.
I wonder how many of our listeners have the image of an old prospector with his long johns on.
There's no flap at the back. That's very funny, Bottom. It's but yeah, they're like my pajamas when I'm like on a winter camp, because, like you say, it gives an extra layer to keep the heat in. It's they are fab, and
yeah, they really are. Good pair of walking socks.
Can't hear you, Ed.
Oh,
you have to talk into your microphone. I can hear you, but you're really, really quiet.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I am here. I was going to say, good pair of walking socks. Oh, didn't do anything.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, it's much better.
Yeah. I don't know what we were talking about either, really. Oh, I was about to say, a good pair of walking socks is essential to a good night's sleep. Anybody that has ever gone camping anywhere that says they hate it is because they had really cold feet all night and didn't sleep. So yeah, make sure that you have some good loose, these don't need to be sort of the tight kind of firm things, some nice bridge gate, whatever they're called, but some nice woolen socks that you go sleeping in. Keep your feet warm. Absolutely brilliant. So,
yeah, I totally agree with that. On particularly winter camping, I've got my base layers on. I look like a right fool, but then I've got a nice fresh pair of socks on, dry pair of socks that my base layers are then tucked into.
I didn't say they were fresh, Tim. Didn't say they were fresh. You've got a problem. Everything's got to be fresh, man.
Yeah, but with your
come on, Howard
socks,
Hughes.
with your used socks inside your mummy sleeping bag, you're gonna like gas yourself. Oh God. Yeah, no, good walking socks. Absolutely, absolutely. Cold feet I hate my feet getting cold. If my feet are cold, I am cold. It doesn't matter about the rest of me. If my feet get cold and I can't warm them up, that's it. I'm gonna be awake all night. And there have been nights when it's been a bit of an epic fail, for that very reason. I hate my feet getting cold. I hate it.
And camping in itself is adjustment. It's working out what worked, what didn't work, why didn't it work? Do I need to adjust it for next time, or do I just need to drink less and, use things as they should be used? But I always remember a friend who had a very lightweight, small tent, and we went camping. It was springtime. I think it was this year, or it might have been last year. And he just had a terrible night. He's traveled around Australia, the Middle East. He's been all over the place, South America. And this tent has been with him. And yet he just had a terrible night in the UK because it was quite small and his feet were just up against the outside of the tent and just leached heat away from him. So yeah, I think it's just a really important thing. Like we've talked about with sleeping bags, like we've talked about with the R-ratedness of mattresses that you're on, those are the things that really, really do spoil camping.
Yeah.
And some people never come back to it after having that one time. So if you're going with somebody, just make sure that they're going to be at least comfortable. My partner, she absolutely hates having that the grass is all wet on a morning and the dew, and we've not got appropriate sort of clothes and stuff. She was like, "Oh, why do you like this?" I was like, "Because I don't mind it so much." So yeah, I think
she needs a pair of those wellies.
Yeah,
and
she
then,
does.
And then she can get through the long grass without it annoying her. She needs a pair of wellies.
Yeah. She was talking about it as a kind of something that put her off going. Oh well, no, you be camping in all that damp grass and stuff. It's like, yeah, you will be. Can't help that.
Yeah. We can't turn the dampness off on a morning, I'm afraid. It's yeah.
Said the vicar.
Moving on. I was going to talk a bit about some of the high tech stuff that's coming into some clothing over the last few years. There's some really clever things, and you talked about craghoppers earlier, and they've got that. They've got, I'm going to butcher it now, and Richard will tell us off in an instant message, I'm sure. But they've got like insect repellent within all the garments and within some of their boots and within some of their socks and their trousers and their shirts and things like that. So it's actually impregnated into it, and which is really great, particularly if you're going somewhere, like in Scotland with the midges and everything else. It can really, really help. Stopping you getting bitten 1,000 times. It's and you've got some garments now that are heated. They've even got power supply to them. They've got a power bank in them, and you can flick a little switch, and it warms you up as you're sitting there, so you don't have to get cold. I actually saw something today, and it's out in that there China, but it's a new fabric that's got a wire mesh with it, and it's actually going to, as you walk and move, it will generate electricity. So then you can plug your phone into garments. They haven't made any garments with it yet, but they're kind of saying this will be new technology and new clothing that will, just the act of wearing it and moving around will generate electricity, which is, that's great if you're out on a hike and you just plug your phone into your jacket and it charges up as you're walking.
Yeah, well, the Craghopper stuff that you were going to butcher that you didn't really butcher, but you gave a good description of, it's called the Nosy Life series.
Cool.
So It's got, yeah, like you say, I think, didn't he say it's got aluminium sewn into the sleeves to, be less smelly? And
There's stuff like that built into it as well to make
yeah,
make.
really, really, really,
So
really
for
good.
people like yourself that wears one item of clothing for a whole week, you're all right.
Sometimes I'm just out in nature, Tim. I can't decide these things. I'm just out there. There's no clothes shops.
Craghoppers, are you making underpants out of that material? Because Ed needs some.
Oh, I'm not going to be. Next time we have a meetup, people are just going to give me the side eye, aren't they? Going, I wonder
Yeah,
whether
they
he's
are.
changed his kegs today.
They will definitely come and ask, Eddie.
The undercrackers. I'm going to have change of undercracker sign or something like that just hanging out me. Only on the fourth day.
Oh God. It's uh the other thing that there's loads of manufacturers making clothes out of recycled stuff. I mean, there's for fleeces for a few years now, you can get them made out of recycled plastic and stuff like that. But again, it was that Craghoppers, and we're not sponsored. We're not sponsored, but they actually do some really good stuff. They're actually making clothes out of captured CO2. So they're doing carbon capture, and it's all sorts of crazy science, people. But they're then managing to then turn that and make it into a weave and a thread, and then they can actually make garments out of it. And they're not rubbish things like we used to see on Tomorrow's World in 1986. They're actually really, really nice clothes. But it's carbon capture, which blows my mind how it's carbon in the atmosphere that they're sucking down, and somehow they turn it into a weave and make a material out of it. But I am assured that they do, and they're selling these items now, and that's like super environmentally friendly and proper science going on.
Wow. Yeah, I think there is some technologies with all things. I was talking to a mathematician today, and he was saying that he was involved with AI 20 odd years ago.
Wow.
And he was like, you can be sure if AI is around now, it's been around for a lot longer, but they've just got to sort of like putting it in our phones kind of thing.
Oh yeah, by the time the consumer gets anything, it's been around, whatever it is, it's been around donkey's years, and other government agencies have been using it. That's the same for all of these modern materials, Gore-Tex and things like that. They were used in the military for years before they came out to the public space, and it's the same with most of this stuff. It's we're we're at the back end of it all, not at the pointy end most of the time. But
Yeah.
we still got it, and all this stuff is there. It's the lesson really is you don't need to go out in a pair of jeans and be uncomfortable when you're camping. Put a bit of thought in, think about what you're doing on your camping trip, pick your wardrobe to kind of match that, and you'll be a lot more comfortable, and it'll be a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, there's a reason that companies spend a lot of time making sort of new fabrics. It's why the tents are updated quite regularly, the poles get done, but also all the fabrics for they're very much, similar to sports fabrics. They're light enough, or they're hard wearing enough, or they're cool enough, or they're warm enough. There's various things. There's winter camping trousers and outdoor trousers that are lined, keep you warmer. But just all of those things, and being able to switch between it's going to be damp, it's going to be wet, I'm going to wear this kind of stuff, or actually I want it to keep me warm more than anything else. So clothes are, I think you would agree, a really important part of getting out there.
Totally. It's great having all the kit, all the camping kit and everything else. But actually, if you're uncomfortable or damp or cold, you're not going to enjoy using any of that kit, and it'll put you off going the next time. So, wearing the right stuff, and
Yeah.
And actually, if you do have, if you spent right, so if you bought the right stuff and it's good quality stuff, if it does get a tear or something like that, actually all of this stuff you can just repair it. It's there's a big drive at the moment to actually, repair your outdoor gear, your coats, your trousers and stuff like that, your fleeces. And there are a lot of companies out there that will repair it for you. And a lot of the camping shows that we've been to this year, there've actually been companies there that would repair it for free. So the outdoor trade show at Liverpool I went to, there was a whole stall there that if you take anything, that have sewn patches into it, that have sewn it up and done all sorts for it. So, you know, yeah, if you are going to get rid of it, recycle it or send it to a charity shop, donate it to someone. But actually, you don't need to do that. Just repair it, get it repaired, and
Yeah.
give it another lease of life. And
Yeah, as you say, there is a big movement out there to actually not repair things seamlessly. Isn't it that sort of that Japanese or Chinese sort of thing that everything should have a fault?
yeah,
And so, yeah, I've seen on Instagram people that oh, it's got a rip in it, but I'm going to repair it, but repair it with different colored threads so that people can see. There's a lot of people that go and buy cashmere in charity shops, and it tends to have a hole in it and stuff like that. Still bloody cashmere, and
yeah,
they're so expensive. So, yeah, they're just doing a really neat job of going, look, but I've saved something.
yeah. And it's been kind of honest with it then, isn't it? Going,
Yeah, it really
yeah,
is.
yeah, that's got a hole or ear down my leg, but actually, I
Yeah.
did that on this adventure. It was great fun. I've got a great story to tell, and I repaired the trousers and saved myself having to buy another pair. So you don't always have to buy new. You can make do and mend. Back to the
Make
back to
do
the war
amend.
years. Back to the war years.
And on that bombshell, I think we should have
Aye.
a minute mindfulness.
All right then. Here we go.
Welcome to the Casual Camping 1 Minute Mindfulness. Let the sounds of the outdoors take you back to the camping field.
Want to go camping? Want to go camping?
Yeah, I hope that makes the rest of you want to go camping too. It's that's what it's there for. Get inspiring you to pack your stuff in a car or in your backpack and take to those hills and get yourself sat in a field this weekend. Are you camping this weekend?
I am not. I might be working this weekend, so
Uh,
I'd like to be. But I think January is going to probably have quite a bit of camping in it.
cool. Well, I am hoping. Each week goes by, and I'm still bloody hoping, but I am hoping to be back out in the hills at some point. But it's gonna be next year now. I can pretty much guarantee that. Hopefully it might be at some point in January, but I am just hoping. But we shall see when that is. But what we'd really like to see is photos of our listeners going out camping. So stick them on Facebook or on your socials. Tag us in Casual Camping Podcast, and or join the group and stick them on the group. And we'd love to see where you're going because I can't go camping, so you need to go camping for me.
Ooh, there's a challenge.
There's a
Challenge
challenge.
accepted, people. Come on. Let's show Tim what he's missing.
Let's make Tim feel worse. Do
And
it, people.
if you're buying any Black Friday camping stuff, we'd quite like to see that on the old socials as well.
Yeah.
Bargains that people have got, new stuff. Now's the time to be getting it.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, we will leave you in peace for another week, and hope everybody has a nice weekend. I've been Tim.
I've been Aid.